Morning, we are following some breaking news in Seattle where police are investigating another smash and grab at a cannabis shop in the Greenwood neighborhood. The owner tells us around 2 o'clock this morning, multiple cars were used to ram and then rob that store.
Happened within 30 minutes of each other at convenience stores in Beacon Hill and West Seattle. Police say 2 armed suspects wearing all black or dark clothing robbed the stores of cash and took off. Police believe at least 2 of the robberies are related, but a K-9 unit searched the area and turned up nothing. As for Al-Hashmi, he's seriously considering throwing in the towel after everything he's been through.
We are in the middle of an SPD staffing crisis now.
Councilmember Alex Peterson tried to introduce amendments committing funds toward hiring and retaining officers. He says more than 300 officers and detectives have left SPD in the past year and a half.
The King County Superior District and Seattle Municipal Courts for many reasons, including the need to social distance in jail, which means fewer inmates.
Our normal pre-COVID backlog of felony cases that have been filed but not yet resolved hovered around 3,000. We're probably about 7,000 now, and it could be 10,000 before we get back to work in the middle of the summer.
You have last year into this year at least 160 businesses in downtown Seattle alone that have decided to close up shop permanently. Some of them are leaving the state. Some of them are leaving the city. The most recent one is TR International. It's a global chemical distributor. They've been in downtown Seattle for about 2 decades, and they decided to go to Edmonds, which is about 15, 20 minutes north of Seattle. And the reason they did it was for the safety of their employees.
Breaking news right now. In the last 10 minutes, we received new surveillance video showing that smash and grab robbery at a cannabis shop in the Soto neighborhood.
The burglar smashed right through the front of CannaZone this morning and took off with over $10,000 of merchandise.
City of Seattle and the state of Washington go 1-2 in overnight burglaries in the country. Hey, we're number 1 in burglaries. What is causing this? I'll give you a hint. Progressive failed policies. Let's get into it. Here we go. Yeah, this is some wild stuff. Burglaries, overnight burglaries. They happen all the time in Seattle to the point where people just routinely do not report. And guess what? These numbers are way underreported. I know of 5 or 6 incidents where people I know have not contacted the police because their car's been broken into, their home's been broken into, whatever, got something stolen, something along those lines. There's no point. I mean, there is a point in contacting the police, but nobody does it because it's not going to end up with any kind of response. And Washington and Seattle, and Spokane is not far behind. I mean, we'll see here, but it's because you don't have enough cops, and you've got a judicial system that has gone down this justice reform crazy train that just allows a bunch of nut jobs to run around and, he's got 45 felony convictions. We believe in him. Get out there, Tiger, and don't commit any more felonies. We're going to give you an ankle bracelet. Hope this looks good with your outfit. And then the guy just cuts it off and doesn't go to his hearing. I mean, that is routine. That is standard. There was a guy that they recently caught impersonating, I think it was a state employee, and he had taken a whole bunch of copper wire from I think it was from one of the bridges. He had multiple outstanding warrants and convictions, and he was telling the police, yeah, my crew's over there somewhere. Had about $1,000 of copper wire that he'd stripped. I think it was from a bridge or a roadway, something like that, here in Washington. And he didn't show up for his hearing. Shocker. A guy that's got multiple felony convictions, all kinds of outstanding warrants, doesn't show up to his hearing. I mean, what is wrong with the judicial system when you let somebody like that out? Well, it's only a misdemeanor. How about those other 18 felony convictions? Do you think that might be an indication that this guy's a bad dude and he needs to do some time? But we don't care about that here in Washington State. We're all about protecting the criminals. Because at the end of the day, that's about all we're going to have left for population after our leadership gets rid of tossing out the billionaires, tossing out the millionaires, tossing everybody out, tossing out all the businesses. Who's going to be left? A bunch of NGOs and the people that they allegedly support. Washington is seeing more overnight burglaries than just about anywhere else in the country. We're number one. Now, two of the state's cities landed in the top 5 nationally. Oh, so proud. With one taking the number 1 spot. Shocker. Seattle is the most at-risk major city in the country for nighttime home break-ins. So over at the marina where I have my boat in Seattle, it's a nice neighborhood. It's the East Lake neighborhood. And one of my boat neighbors there, they're from California. They've got a big boat. I'm guessing it's like 42, 43 feet. It's a nice big boat. They had a bunch of stuff in the back of their truck and in a canopy, and their window got bashed out. This was a couple of months ago. And then I think about 5 days ago, somebody else I'd heard their window got bashed out as well. And it's because you've got a bunch of whacked out fentanyl addicts who know that they can break into anything at any given point in time, don't have enough police to catch them, don't have a judicial system that's actually going to incarcerate them. So they just operate basically without lawful bounds. And what does Seattle do? Big city crime. At the same time, Spokane had the 3rd highest overnight residential burglary rate. Spokane, you need to do better. I would have said Spokane ahead of Seattle, but Seattle's got so many Betty addicts, right? Seattle has 234.6 break-ins per 100,000 residents. Spokane, 182. Seattle's way ahead. And remember, these are the ones that were reported. So these numbers, I bet you Seattle's 350. It's just way above that. And that's between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. in 2024. So I leave nothing in my car. I don't leave anything in my car. And like this morning when I was out of there, I thought to myself, there's a high probability somebody's bashed my window. I don't know what they're going to go after. I don't drive a fancy car. I don't leave any stuff in it. But still, what are we going to get? What's this guy hiding? Bash your window. They don't care. They could give a crap. So I have filled, and you walk through neighborhoods and you see glass on the sidewalk. Not on the sidewalk, on the parking lane. You see glass all the time. And it's because somebody walked. That was glass cracking, by the way, not a whip. The city with the 2nd highest number of break-ins in the U.S. was Cleveland, Ohio, but they didn't even crack 200. That's a distant second. They're 200 meters back in an 800-meter race. That doesn't even count. 196.9 incidents. Cleveland, you can do better. I know you can. Meanwhile, safest cities were Frisco, Texas, or North Dallas, Irvine, California, and Gilbert, Arizona. Gilbert, safe. Frisco only had 5.9 incidents. 5.9 versus Seattle at 235. Irvine, 6.5 versus 235. Gilbert, 7.5 versus 235. Nuts. Now we look statewide, okay? North Dakota, number 1, overnight break-ins. North Dakota, how did you sneak in there? How did that happen? North Dakota. Washington and New Mexico. New Mexico, I'd believe. That just makes sense. North Dakota, yeah. I'm going to have to look at that one. Figure that one out. You got some poverty going on there. You got some big cities that got a bunch of crime. Does North Dakota have any big cities? Nothing that I can think of, but you got a bunch of drugs running around? Probably. Saw the highest overnight rates per capita in 2024, each reporting more than 50 incidents per 100,000 residents. Washington specifically saw 61.3 incidents per 100,000 residents. We're not a 2nd highest state at risk of nighttime break-ins. So we run 1 and 2. Oh, I'm so proud. So proud to be a Washingtonian. You get record breaking. Meanwhile, we have the For an emerging economy, for a growing economy, Washington State, number one. Number one. And then you got all this stuff going on. Well, it's big city crime. No, it's because you've had 4 decades of Democrat leadership, and we are not tough on crime at all. We are the opposite of that. Oh yeah, just let them run around. This is so progressive. This is such progress. Safest states at night were New Hampshire. You got Hawaii, Vermont. I don't think, is there any shockers in there? No. I'm actually kind of surprised with Hawaii. I mean, but yeah, Honolulu, you got some crime. Elsewhere, you got a bunch of homeless folks, though, but I guess they don't steal from their own, right? They don't steal from their own. Weird. Vivint pulled data from the FBI and surveyed 1,000 Americans to understand how safety varies across the country. A Vivint spokesperson told My Northwest that home protection habits nationwide lag behind basic ones, noting that while 93% of Americans lock their front doors before bed. You lock your front door? I lock mine. You lock your windows? I lock my windows that have easy access from either a deck or, ground floor level. Just say, hey, you don't want to invite anybody. Do I do a rundown every single night? No, but am I aware? Yeah, I'm going to be away for a night. I should go ahead and lock that. Absolutely. 100%. Indoors for sure. And I live in Bellevue. I live in a safe community. I don't worry about being broken into, but in case somebody did come through, I'm not going to just invite them and say, hey, go ahead, rifle through my crappy stuff and take whatever you want by leaving the front door open. Just not going to do that. Oh yeah, we leave our doors open. All right. Okay. I mean, I've got a bus stop just a couple of blocks away, and people routinely steal my mail. I don't have anything in there, but they steal it. Pried open I have a lock of one of those big square locked mailboxes. They took whatever and just beat out the center lock, right? Perfect. And now I just got this mangled lock. I'm sure the mailman just thinks I'm complete ghetto. So just 20% activate a security system at night and 15% have a professionally monitored system. What I have is 5 Wyze cameras because I have Wyze cameras. I had Wyze cameras at my office, no longer have the office. I have Wyze cams on my boat, and I've got 6 Wyze cams throughout my house, mainly so I can monitor it when I'm gone. Hey, did I leave the door open? Did I leave the damn garage door open again? I've done that multiple times because I got a black garage door. It's closed. It's black. Yeah, it's not. Just anybody could just walk in there and steal my tools. That wouldn't be good. So Wyze cameras, 15% have a professionally monitored system. I do not. I don't think those are. I just don't think they work, right? I don't think they work. Other households relied more on personal protection, with 27% reporting they keep a weapon nearby while sleeping. Yep. I don't keep it nearby while sleeping, but I do have one ready to roll, kind of closer to my front door. That's where I keep mine, and it's a shotgun. So, want to come play? Good luck. And I can't see, so I might hit you in the butt. I might hit you in the pinky. I might take off your head. I don't really know and that's why I've got a shotgun and not a handgun, because somebody breaks in the middle of the night. Hey, wait a minute. Hold your horses, Mr. Robber. Hold your horses. I got to find my glasses. You know what? I can't see all that well with glasses. Would you give me 2 minutes? Let me put my contacts in. I can see better that way. No. I'm going to the shotgun and you shoot in the general direction. Hopefully you scare them off, right? Nearly 1 in 10 don't lock their doors at all. Okay. You live in safe areas. 21% have experienced a break-in at their home or a neighbor's. There are no break-ins that I know of in my neighborhood, or my neighbors. You know what we've had though lately is within a 2-block radius of my home, we've had 2 homes burn. Came home and I'm like, Man, that's not somebody grilling. That's not somebody with shrimp on the Barbie, is it? And it's that the burning home smell. And it was all throughout the neighborhood. I'm like, that's not good. And then about a week later, we had another one. So we had one couple of blocks to the north of me and a couple of blocks to I think they were upstairs or attic fires, both of them. Terrible, terrible. So to help prevent break-ins, Vivint urged residents to do more than just lock the door. But you know what we're talking about is they say secure windows, turn on outdoor lights, use a security system. None of these things will help break-ins in Seattle. None of those things will help. And, my son sold his house in Madison Park. He moved to South Lake Union. What happened to his car? Literally within, I want to say, a week of him moving there. Yep, window gets bashed, and they didn't really take much because he didn't have much in there. That's after his car had been stolen and left running a few years ago. And the meth head who stole his car stole some random ridiculous stuff, left the other stuff, and left his car running at a gas station in Madison Park. So living in Seattle, that's the risk you take. If you don't park your car in the garage, which we had that father-son talk many times, he's now parking it in the garage. He's in a secured building, but I don't want to pay for parking. All right, well, how much was that window for your car? Yeah, simple improvements like these can help strengthen nighttime peace of mind. Not in Seattle, because they'll just bash your window, have their way with whatever your stuff is. You're not going to file a police report because this is going on so rampantly. And you know what? The ecosystem just keeps spinning because those Fetty addicts, they got to get their money. They got to get their whatever. They got to take your stuff and go hawk it at 12th and Jackson, where there's just a wild open air drug market. Vast majority of Americans aren't losing sleep over burglaries, despite more than 20% experiencing a break-in nearby. 18% worrying about nighttime break-ins. 87% said they still feel at least somewhat safe after dark. I don't feel safe after dark in Seattle. I don't feel safe parking my car. And I've been going to Seattle since I was able to drive. And I went there as a young child. I remember one incident. We went to downtown. We went to the King County courthouse because we were going to Australia and one of us didn't have a passport. I can't remember if it was me or my brother, and we were little. And, hanging around a courthouse, not a lot of fun. I mean, your parents are yelling at you because back then children were seen and not heard. Hey, pipe down, waiting for the passports. We were doing some kind of expedited passport thing, right? Because we were trying to get to Australia. My mom's from there. And so we're going back to see the homeland country on my mom's side. And I remember, being in Seattle. I've been going to Seattle forever, and Seattle's always been sketch because it's so progressive. It's always been that way. But now, with 4 decades later of progressive, literally supermajority, oh, yeah. We're number one. We're number one. Oh, so good to be number one. It's kind of like California. Number one in so many terrible categories. Numero uno. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.